Hello, everyone, and welcome to Constructive Clash. I'm Heezy, and I'm joined by my boy, is the Witch Cling.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, man?
It's going good.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while. Mostly my fault. And, you've just been, in the meantime, destroying the world of Magic Online and everybody's, ticket counts. You've just been breaking them all in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, at least had a good week in Modern last week. Pioneer, not so much, but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, so today we're playing Pioneer. It's as voted on by the Twitters, the tweeters. And Matt was like, "What decks do we want to see?" I was like, "I don't know," and I just picked two decks. It's just like, let's do this. But I picked the. I saw that Spirits, Blue White Spirits won the challenge, and it was pretty different than like Spirits had historically been. And I know that you had played some Waste Not not that long ago. I thought it's a pretty popular deck. It's a deck that you see a lot on both Magic Online, Arena, and probably in the streets. So we're going to talk about those decks today. Why don't we switch over and talk about... oh, I have to edit that part. That's awkward. And talk about this monoblock deck. You kind of take it away here.
How have we been doing this? Or do we want me to actually read off the entire deck list, or?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So for non-basic lands, we have 4 Castle Lochthwains, 4 Field of Runes, 3 Gyre Reach Sanitariums, 2 Hive of the Eye Tyrant, 2 Sunken Citadels, 1 Takenuma, and 1 Urborg. Then for 1 mana spells, we have 2 Duress, 4 Fatal Push, 4 Thoughtseize. Going up the curve, we have 1 Go for the Throat, 2 Shieldred Edicts, 4 Waste Knots, 2 Reckoning Bakebusters, 4 Go Blanks, 4 Liliana the Veil, 2 Extinction Events, 3 Shieldred the Apocalypse, and 2 Aklazot's Deepest Betrayal.
So for the main deck, you have 6 1-mana discard spells, 4 Go Blanks, and 4 Lilianas. Is it fair to I mean, is this? I have not played this deck. I played a lot against it. Is it pretty easy to activate Waste Not every turn?
Yeah, often when you have a Waste Not in play, it's fairly trivial to activate it. Also, just realizing that this deck list that I pulled has a 14 card sideboard.
Sick. What do you want to add?
So I guess I'll put another card in the sideboard. I will just make it a Duress. Call it fine. Yeah, so it's fairly straightforward to activate Waste Not most turns, if not all turns, and you'd be surprised at how often your opponent just activates Waste Not for you on accident. Things like Cycle Lands, Channel Lands. There are a lot of effects that you're discarding a card and not realizing it. I think that this deck mostly was originally targeted to beat Vein Ripper. Your matchup your matchup against the card Vein Ripper is quite strong compared to other decks, due to all the edict effects. And Black-Red Vampire is historically not great at removing enchantments, so Waste Not mostly just sticks around.
Yeah, I mean, and then Go Blank just happens to be good against Phoenix on its own, and pretty good in the kind of the Black Mirrors.
Right.
Kind of looking at things. You've got two cut downs on the board. You got Path of Peril, stuff like that. How do you more Extinction Events? How do you kind of expect this matchup against Spirits to go?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how the matchup's going to go. I suspect, as is typical for most of Spirits matchups, being on the play is going to be very important. I think that beyond that, it's just going to depend on how our draws line up. I think the combination of Thoughtseize and Fatal Push are really strong against Spirits, but at the same time, if I'm drawing a bunch of 3 and 4 drops, it's possible that Spirits will just run me over.
Let's go on to Spirits. I'll pull that deck up. This is the deck that won the challenge, and there are some interesting things about it to me, Matt, is that they have completely moved away from kind of the enchantment subplan, where we're trying to suit up our guy and draw a bunch of extra cards. We've also moved away from cards that care about that. We're already down to one Spell Pierce in the main, and instead we're playing things like Get Lost and the Wandering Emperor in the main deck. One of the things that this deck did get recently was No More Lies, so it does get to play, one of the better counter spells in the format. As well as it got Smuggler's Copter unbanned. So this deck plays 3 Adhikar Waste, 1 Cavern of Souls, 1 Aganjo, 4 Hollowed Fountain, 4 Hengegate Pathway, 2 Island, 2 Muta Vault, 1 Otawara, 1 Plains, and 4 Seachrome Coasts. It's got the 4 Mausoleum Wanderers, 3 Spectral Sailors, 1 Spell Pierce, 2 Get Lost, 2 Invasion of Gobakon, which is really good, 4 Rattle Chains, 4 Supreme Phantom, 4 Normalized, 3 Smuggler's Copter, 4 Spell Queller, another new addition to the deck that people have been playing in I don't know how to say this.
Catilda,
Dawnheart, Martyr. And then this deck plays 4 Wedding Announcements, along with a Wandering Emperor. So this deck, kind of the way that it's constructed, at least in the main deck, really seems to want to actually get a lot of value comparatively to, being like the beatdown value, like overwhelm you type of deck that the mono blue deck was. I've played quite a bit of mono blue spirits, but actually I never cast Spellquiller in this format.
Yeah, I think that this deck is a lot more about just like generating value off of your cards rather than playing like a Protect the Queen strategy.
Yeah.
Like you're probably not that incentivized to use like a No More Lies just to save Rattle Chains or a Spectral Sailor or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And obviously, like the 4 Wedding Announcements are a nice value engine against a lot of the format.
Yeah, so seeing this deck win was interesting to me. This is not a deck that I had on my radar as like one of the best decks in the format, or something that I even thought could take down a 10-round event with top players. But I'm excited to kind of give it a spin on Clash and battle it out.
Yep, should be a good time. I think we'll both learn a lot.
All right, so the way this works out for Matt and I is we each get a turn on the play, regardless of who wins game 1. Matt, you have won a die roll, so you'll go first. I'll go first next game. We'll play 2 game 1s, and then 3 sideboarded games for those new. Matt, how's your opening hand?
Looking pretty good to me. I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, I think my hand is pretty much an auto keep, so we're gonna keep ours as well.
Sounds like we got a good game then.
Maybe. I actually don't know what I'm supposed to lead on here. I think I'm just going to pass.
I thought it was a Spell Pierce. I was like, wow, you're so good.
I wish I was that good.
I think that this is a deck that's it's really important to know how many basic lands everybody runs. So like keeping your eye on the metagame for that is really valuable.
I have 3.
Yeah, I remember from our deck tech. I don't know that I would know that offhand though against spirits. I thought you wasn't it? Oh yeah, it was 2 islands and 1 plains. Yeah.
Sure. That's dead. Could be missequencing on my part. Probably should have attacked first.
I don't think I would have taken the free point for what it's worth, but it probably is missequencing, yes.
I wish you didn't have that. I wonder if I'm actually just supposed to counter it anyway. I don't know.
I don't think using 2 cards here is good unless you were gonna actually like counter it. Like if you wanted to go no more lies plus the Wanderer, but that feels aggressive to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Just take the Supreme Phantom and just try to clock you. Okay.
Thoughtseize Bug.
Yeah, Thoughtseize Bug strikes again.
Sure.
It's pretty good. Your hand was so much cooler for me when you had no threats.
Yeah, it's it's a couple lords off the top was just what the doctor ordered, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hard decision.
Yeah.
I am going to let this die. I don't know if it's right. So the way that I discarded this game was very intentional, and I was curious what you thought of it.
I'm not sure exactly what. Like, I think discarding the spell that requires you to tap out seems obvious, and then beyond that, it's not clear what decision points you had. I guess from my perspective. That was a really good draw. I think.
I don't want to hear that.
This is mostly what I figured. Now I'm just hoping the last card in your hand's not a land. It's not a land.
Don't do it. Don't have it.
What are you expecting?
What am I expecting? I'm expecting the wrath.
Well, you can just counter a Wrath. Your Mausoleum
That's
Augur.
true. Haha. What up? Oh, that's a really fucking good draw. Or sorry, really freaking good draw.
I actually had that one in the opener. It's the Thoughtseize that I thought was good because I mean, obviously, you know, it's unlikely that you have the fourth No More Lies there, but it is nice to be able to see what's going on.
Are you just dead? Oh no, that's not how life works.
I was confused. Maybe you should attack and we'll find out. I think we'll both learn something.
I'm good.
Playing out the land is an interesting decision. I mean, it's Mutavault, so it makes sense.
That's the only reason I played it.
It is always awkward to go down to 0 cards against Gaia Reach.
I guess I'll discard it.
Okay.
You're gonna lose. No, I really think I lose.
Yeah. It's not looking good currently for you. I think I'm supposed to hold the Acolytes back still, currently.
Five. Then you should attack with everything and tap all your mana.
Yeah, that sounds like the right play.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
I can't imagine. Cannot imagine how that could go badly for me.
Rude. Sure, sure. The bats are like just to kill it, man. Like that's
Yeah, the bat is very good. Actually a really hard decision. Let's move go this way.
so now you crew the thing with your Aquazats. Attack for 5.
I don't think that's it. Especially given that I've already tapped it for a card. Crewing it really seems bad. Yeah, I mean, still in a pretty precarious spot. I don't remember offhand if that deck plays any way to remove a 5-drop.
I mean, I have Get Lost and...
Sure, yeah. I'm currently dead to Get Lost. No, I guess I'm not. I still have 2 flying blockers.
Get Lost is a good one. Right into the mana for my girl, the Wandering Emperor.
I mean, if you drew it, good beats. Holding a land might not have been it there, though.
What are our outs here? Do we have any? Maybe dead. I'm just surprised you just haven't been attacking with a Hive Tyrant, to be honest.
I mean, that was the first turn I had the option, and I had a lot of spells that I wanted to cast.
Sure. You could have been really helpful a couple turns ago. We'll call it a draw.
Is that right? I'm sure both parties will agree to that.
That's what we agreed before the game started. Bad joke, bad joke. Okay.
I mean, I do think that if I were on the draw in that game...
Yeah, I think you would have lost there. I was going to say that, but it was... that I don't know. I mean, the Thoughtseize would have been better.
Maybe. I mean, I a lot of these discard effects I was drawing off the top. In fact, I think every one of them that I played, I had just drawn. So I guess I would have drawn them all a turn sooner, though. So it's...
With no lands into 1 land.
Not ideal.
If I draw a second land, and this game's really good.
It is definitely the kind of thing worth thinking about on 6.
Well, I think the thing is that what this game is likely going to be about, right, is me putting pressure on you.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just draw a land, any land will do it. I'm going to keep and understand that, sometimes you don't get there if I don't get there.
Reasonable. Like, especially if you know the matchup, going to 5 is just so tough.
Yeah, that's my thought. Again, like a world of open deck lists where people like going to 5 against this deck sounds like it's the same thing as just. Whew. Big sneeze. That's not a land.
Still pretty good though.
So I had both of these. That's why I was willing to try it.
Yeah, I figured.
I need to see what I'm working with.
I mean, as much as I don't like you having Invasion of Gobakon in your hand, I do not think that I can let you keep the Supreme Phantom, because if you draw a land, I'm just like almost dead on board.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I don't get rid of it.
Oh, you did get the Thoughtseize bug again, though.
Yeah, for real though. The more I'm thinking about it, I actually think the keep was probably just correct.
Yeah, it looks fine to me, especially on a 6, right? Like on a 7, maybe it's a little too greedy, but like going to 5 is just so tough. And like this is a 6 that definitely could win a game by just drawing a land. I mean, you still might win this game, to be fair. Like it's not like I'm out of the woods somehow, you know.
Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Yeah, it's kind of.
Oh, I should have obviously used the Citadel the way that it's
The way that
for the thing that it's for. Yeah. And you being mana screwed against all these 1-for-1s is actually not that bad. Especially now that you've found your second mana source.
The hive is going to get quite a bit of damage in pretty fast, though. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I could try to race with a hive, but I think that just like doesn't even work theoretically, right? Like if you just
Well,
play,
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
play guys.
You only had a land in hand, so.
Yeah. I mean, but I do have other options, even with just a land in hand, to be honest. Like for one, I think I want to get this in now. Obviously, you'll just get the island here, but like this prevents me from getting double white spelled unless you draw another white source or whatever, you know.
Sure. That's a pretty good draw for you.
Castle Lockthwain.
Yeah.
It's not bad. There was a little bit of tension between playing that and the Citadel, but I think.
I guess playing the Citadel lets you do like a lot of stuff with your hive.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think that there was some, like I said, some tension there. And I mean, one of the things about Castle Lockthwain in this deck is that you do play so many lands that like tend to draw more lands than you can ever play a lot, and it makes it hard to use it for more than one turn. Can you imagine that it matters a lot what I'm targeting here?
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, Matt, did you draw Fatal Push?
I did not. You are going to get in there. Falling perfectly into my plan of drawing Extinction Event off the top.
I hope you don't.
Would that not be good for you?
I don't think so.
Pretty good for me.
You have so much mana now, so 3. If you just play another land and do both still, that's so many.
Yeah, well, it's an option. I think that it's not that likely that I find the thing though. I think I have a Go Blink in my hand. I think I'd rather just get value off of that this turn and just take my lick
That
here.
sounds so much better than anything else, especially considering my hand.
I mean, it is going to put me under pressure to draw like at least a removal spell, if not a Wrath, this very turn. I guess Alkalots would stop you from attacking for just a second. Probably no reason not to draw now. I guess I could always draw Fatal Push. Well, you can just sack the Invasion for that. I guess it saves me the counters next turn, though. What did you end up discarding to that?
A No More Lives and another Rattle Chain.
And another Rattle Chains, okay.
I thought that I was going to win if I untapped with those cards in my hand.
Yeah, that makes sense, given that I'm like pretty much dead on board. I mean, you're still insanely likely to win this game. Let's not pretend like it's not. I guess I can actually... I don't even need to use Lockthwain here. I can actually just use the Gyre Reach Sanitarium because you have to discard whatever it is. Actually, just way better.
Better, yeah. I didn't want to draw that anyway.
Good, because you weren't going to. Yeah, again, some interesting tension there against the Sanitarium.
Well, I kind of think I need the third land in play, is the actual problem.
Right. That's why I said it's, tension. Obviously not just a straight up misplay.
Why can't I activate? Why can't I just cast spells in the middle of your effect? I don't understand.
Would that be good? Technically alive, the best kind of alive.
Flash and alert? No, just kidding.
That doesn't add me outs, I don't think. So I should just do this first. Well, they're both that card. That wasn't adding outs. Got me.
All right. Oh. Okay. Let's let's do my sideboard, and then we'll do your sideboard during the next game and talk about it.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
So, I think that there are things to kind of consider here. I actually think that things like Tashana, Takas, I don't know how to say this, the welcome card, the enchantment, whenever one or more creatures enter the battlefield with mana 3 or where you draw a card, is, I think it's good. Like, I want to be able to continue to play the game after my hand is empty. I have a question for you. Like, wedding announcement kind of seemed bad.
Yeah, I think that it's hard to find a time to play it, right? Because like if you play wedding announcement, you're not holding up your various effects that are quite good. It's also possible that you'd play against mono black and they'd be citing an Invoke Despair, which would make it even worse.
Yeah, maybe. The next thing that is interesting to me is I expect Matt to be boarding in Wraths. And between his Wraths and his large creatures, I think the Disdainful Stroke has some value. So this is kind of what I'm thinking for the cyber games. Yeah.
Fair enough.
See how that goes. I could be totally wrong. Like wedding announcement could be like it's like the same thing, right? Like you just get to be more aggressive and attack with a bunch of stuff and draw cards, but I will keep my hand. It is kind of whatever, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure on whether this kind of hand for me is a keep.
Here to share.
It's just a lot of lands and some big drops. Like it basically it has lands and spells, but that's pretty much the only thing it has going on for it. It's not sure like how aggressively you're supposed to mulligan here. I'll just tell you what the hand is. Pretty sure I'm gonna mulligan it. It's 5 lands, an extinction event, and an Aclazotz.
Oh, I think that's a mulligan.
Which I think is like I don't know. I think it's a lot more debatable than you'd expect, though. Like I think that these cards are like the top end, which are harder to find in this deck. Like everything, like a handful of fatal pushes and direct or like discard effects is actually a lot more replaceable because you have so many of those.
Sure.
But I obviously would worry in this matchup about just getting run over. So.
Okay, what am I going to draw next turn, Matt?
Well, I'm gonna hope that it's not another No More Lies, but we'll see. It's certainly been that way.
If I had a nickel for every time I had a Thoughtseize bug on camera happen, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Exactly.
I'd have 3 nickels.
I guess we'll find out if you would, in fact, have 3 nickels. Guess you could have drawn it last turn as well. So. You discarded land. Okay, so one of the draws was the Gonjo. Rattle Chains has hexproof? Wow.
So bad if you have another go blank.
Well, they weren't that.
That is not a go blank.
It's a pretty good one.
Sure. That's annoying.
Doesn't seem so bad. All your creatures are cantripping. Ooh, interesting. Oops, all field of runes.
There's a lot of field of ruins. Interesting.
I'm not sure where we're going with this, so... oh, I guess, yeah, okay. But I mean, Field of Ruining doesn't help, right? You can just activate it again.
Sure, that's true. Well, a card in my hand now.
I didn't see what happened. Oh, failed to find a card. Oh, yeah. If the other two are also that, I still think I have no outs.
Oh, nice.
I mean, what could it be, right?
I don't know. They are not that, for what it's worth.
Yeah. Figured they might not be. I know one of them's a No More Lies, right? Because I saw it earlier.
Nope.
So I lost track of it. Oh, is that in the exile? That's an exile. Got it.
Okay.
Ah. Another one.
The bat.
Yeah, the Tokasia's Welcome has been really strong. I think it's like probably almost single-handedly won you this game.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so we attack. You block here. You block here. You take lethal.
really hoping you were going to discard a land there. So I can get another blocker.
All right, we will be back where Matt talks about his sideboarding. All right, Matt, talk to me about what you're thinking about going into these sideboarding games. Obviously, like, you're down again. We already saw Path of Peril, but like, where did you end up?
Well, so I had sideboarded in 2 Path of Perils, 1 Cut Down, and 1 Aclazotz, and I had sided out 3 Shieldreds and 2 Go Blinks. I definitely considered bringing in Invoke Despair and Duress, but I elected not to. But after having seen how those post-board games play out, and also noting that a lot of people will probably still have wedding announcements in post-board, maybe the Invoke Despairs are just, like, necessary.
It's kind of hard, right? It's like such an expensive spell, but
Yeah, it's obvious. It's obviously going to be not free to resolve a lot, but
I think that if it does resolve, you probably win the game. I mean, it's just like it was in Standard.
yeah, it also might be strictly better than the Extinction events that I currently still have in the deck. I think Extinction event is kind of bad.
I was noticing how often my board was like 2 different numbers.
Yeah, and it has all the same problems as Invoke Despair as well, right? Being like a really expensive sorcery. So yeah, I think I'll probably try that for our next couple of games. Is also in addition to those 5 boarding out a couple of Extinction events and boarding in 2 Invoke Despairs.
Awesome. Well, let's get to game 4. So the thing I'm debating is, because of how good Welcome was, I wonder if I'm supposed to have wedding announcement in.
Yeah, I also was feeling that too as that game was playing out. But
It's like, okay,
you do
so
get a
like,
little bit glutted at the 3-drop slot, but spell callers are also kind of a liability sometimes, so it just really depends.
well, what's funny to me is that Smuggler's Copter felt terrible.
Yeah, Smuggler's Copter is also kind of a liability sometimes.
So I was thinking about boarding out Smuggler's Copter and a Spectral Sailor for the cards that I was already boarding in, rather than the wedding announcements.
Sure. Yeah, just kind of be like a blue-white mid-range deck.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
All right. So I get to be able to play this game, and I was going to mention this that I was the first one to win a game on the draw, which was interesting. The other thing that I was going to mention is that you lied during sideboarding.
Yeah, I forgot that I had cut Reckoning Bankbusters, not 2 Go Blinks. I was debating, and then I had decided to go that way, and I'm continuing with that currently.
Cool. I'll keep this hand. I think it's like a little sus, but it is aggressive enough on the play that I will keep it.
It's always interesting deciding what to put back with this deck. Like, got a hand with 3 lands and 4 spells, and I'm like, I think that I'm supposed to put back a spell, but it's always not that clear because the deck has so many more lands than
I was just gonna say, you had mentioned in what was it, game
business spells.
2, that how many lands you play.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you get to play Magic when you flood out, whereas if I just get stuck on 2 lands the whole game, I just don't get to play Magic. So you can kind of just try to extract a little more value from your cards when you're just a little bit flooded. When you're just a little bit mana screwed, sometimes it's just too much. I'm very curious what the rest of your hand contains. I have to assume that it doesn't contain another land and probably some amount of 3 drops and or no more lies if you thought that this was suspect.
I did not have a second Mausoleum Wanderer in my opener, for what it's worth.
Fair. Sunken Citadel not being an actual swamp is often very awkward for this deck. Like, it's clearly a powerful card, but it comes up a lot that you really need an actual swamp.
That's annoying. I don't think there's a reason to hold this Spectral Sailor. Like, if my Mausoleum Wanderer dies, it dies.
Yeah. Definitely a reasonable take. I think just passing the turn, not casting any spells for several turns, is a hard
also
way to
made
play.
you tap out, so I get to attack with Immutable. Well, maybe I don't actually.
Yeah, debatably. I mean, holding up the Spell Queller might be preferable to attacking with Mutavault. Also not a bad one.
Yeah, I mean the awkward part here is if you play like a Shieldred, right?
Mm-hmm. I cited out all my Shieldreds as I was mentioning before.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But yeah, obviously from your perspective, that's not that clear. So I guess I know what your hand is currently, huh?
Do you? I thought you
Adakar Waste and a Spell Queller.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought you didn't know about the waste. Maybe I played that wrong.
Well, you just drew the card that you played, so there was really no other way to do
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's fair.
You're playing off the top of the deck the whole time. It's kind of hard to hide information.
Well, that's rude. I wish you didn't do that. It's gonna draw.
Another one? You played the card that you've drawn every turn in this game.
It's a better draw.
A better draw. I don't like that. Guessing I'm getting Wandering Emperor here if you think that the cards you drew were good. Yeah, sounds about right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not even that clear. This might have just been worse than just killing the Vigilance guy or the Flying guy.
Yeah, I think I'm letting that happen.
I think if you're letting that happen, I can't win.
I am letting it happen.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good draw too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alright, here we go for game 5. This is a very different hand than what I've got in the rest of the matches. But I wonder if this one's like good. I think this is better on the draw than what I would normally get. I'm going to keep it.
I'm gonna keep. I think my hand's kind of bad, but I'm already on 6.
You not having Thoughtseize or rest there was pretty good for me. Do you feel like Waste Not is the best card in? Ooh, that was not what I wanted to see.
What was your question?
I just Mason's not a big fan of Waste Not as a card,
Mm-hmm.
and I was curious what your thoughts were as somebody you played this deck quite a bit more than I have, and I just wanted your thoughts.
I mean, I think Waste Not is very strong in this deck. Whether it's like a good card or not is debatable.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, one of our friends like literally won't play the deck because it's a Waste Not deck,
Sure.
and I find that very interesting. This is a really freaking hard decision. Okay, well, I'm doing this.
Okay.
I just think that, like, I don't know, like, I often shut myself off like that, and I question myself about, like, whether it's the right way to go about things.
Sure. I mean, I think everything is in context, right? Like, not really fair to dismiss anything just offhandedly like that.
You gonna absolutely blow me out here?
I don't know what I could possibly blow you out with. I mean, a 4-mana Invoke Despair.
Oh yeah, the guard's 5, not 4. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo, baby! I mean, I just have to do this. It's like not even a question. If not now, when?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My hand's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is a tough decision. And by that I mean I have to do it.
I don't understand how that could possibly be a tough decision. Not really sure what you're expecting.
I was just trying to get all the mana, man.
Well, fair enough. I mean, you got it all. I don't know what more you could hope for out of any of that. Oh, because you have an extra land and a spell queller. Alright, yeah, I'm dead.
You're dead.
Yeah.
What is in your hand?
3 Liliana, the Veils, and a Path of Peril.
Path of Peril kills 2 of my guys there.
Yep.
And then I mean, I don't think you were dead, but let's go on to the post game. That is not how I expected that to play out. I thought that it'd be like really close to 50-50, and post board it actually seemed like Spirits was favored.
It probably is pretty close to 50-50. I'm the worst Pioneer player in the world. Like, I think my win percentage in Pioneer is like less than 10%. So, but
now I know how to win Clash.
yeah, I'm glad that we got to see the game of how it plays out when this deck wins, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think obviously the flaws in this strategy got highlighted extensively as well, right? Like the resolved planeswalkers are really hard to deal with. The resolved enchantments are virtually impossible to deal with. And if you have any kind of a card draw engine, it's really hard to combat that. And additionally, just like, you know, the classic statement of you can't Thoughtseize the top of the deck, right? Like there was literally that game where you played every single card you drew for like 6 turns in a row. It was like, okay, well, these Thoughtseize effects look really bad against this.
The first 2 Thoughtseize literally drew me I drew the exact card out.
Well, that was in the other games, I think. Even I think that maybe that happened in that game as well. But
what do you like? You know, these are 2 decks that people could get that are like on the cheaper end of decks.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to tell people, like, you know, I don't know if you're coming to the 2K this weekend, but you know, if somebody has their 2K RCQ this weekend and they're looking to pick up one of these decks, which one do you like?
I think Mono Black is a better deck, but I also think that Pioneer is a format where you could mostly play anything and get there, so you probably should just play what you like. So it depends on what you want. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend either of these decks if I was, if my only goal was to win an RCQ. If my choice was try to do as well as I can on an RCQ on a budget, and like both of these decks were in my budget, then I would choose Mono Black because I think that it has a lot better place in the metagame.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly does well against the top decks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that Spirits historically has had a problem against Phoenix, and one of the things that I noticed is them moving away from the things that make that matchup bad. That's one of the reasons I want to try this first place deck. And the challenge is like, okay, well, like Wedding Announcement is like a departure for this deck in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's honestly definitely not the kind of Spirits that you would imagine. Like when you're thinking about like, I mean, they never had Aether Vial in Pioneer, but like that style of strategy, right, where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna play like a couple of dorky things, play some whatever the 1 mana enchantment that draws cards is, and like try to protect that, And that strategy has its advantages as well. Like I'm sure you're a lot worse against like Hidden Strings, for example, than the mono blue versions would be.
Oh yeah, I assume that. I mean, you're just playing less counter spells, right? Like you're not less counter spells, but less. No, it's less, right? You have.
It's also less hard counters, right? Like it's not actually that hard to beat like a No More Lies effect with Lotus Field, because like you can just like cast the Hidden Strings first, and like you have 4 mana left, so you can just pay for it, or you can just let it go and then cast whatever else you need to cast.
Did you learn anything during this?
I was I don't know if I learned anything necessarily, but it was interesting to see it play out. That's pretty much what the deck that you were playing looked like, though, right? It looked like more of like a blue-white mid-range-ish deck.
It kind of did post board. Yeah, I agree. What I learned is like,
I mean,
after
even game one, right? You're main decking the Wandering Emperor and 4 wedding announcements. Like,
that's actually what I was going to talk about. Is like wedding announcement seemed really bad game one, and then after seeing how Welcome played out, I was like, well, if this is good, wedding announcement like just actually has to be good.
right?
And I
Yeah,
just was not playing it optimally.
I think that wedding announcement was probably just more awkward in game one than anything else. Like, I don't necessarily think it was bad. It was just like I just had. And obviously, maybe I sideboarded in a way that makes wedding announcement even better against me in some ways. But like when you were looking at your wedding announcements in the other game, it was like I had the option to like drop a Shieldred or a Bat God or whatever if
Right.
anytime that you had played one. So like it would have been really bad for you in those spots. But not having the Shieldreds post board, which admittedly maybe is a mistake, not clear, but and also just like not drawing them right. Like I did side up in Alkalouts, but like you still have to have one. I only have three big punishes in the deck, and then 3 Invoke Despairs, and like that's not even counting for the games where like you can just play Wedding Announcement a little later, or like I just don't have my 5th land on 5, like happened a couple of games.
Yeah. Let us know what you thought of this matchup. Let us know if there's anything that I did wrong that you could see. In the future. We do plan on having Matt record his side as well. But thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for everybody for voting on the poll. Like just seeing the reaction the poll gets and like people want us to do this was one of the reasons that I really did it. So I didn't have my best day, and Matt, you made it better by getting to do this. So like, subscribe, comment, help us out. And if you want to find me, you can do it at Heezy. You can find Matt at the Witch Cling.
Probably not, actually. I don't even know how to get onto that Twitter. So
you're like I don't even know. And we do like a monthly podcast about Smash too. So if you want to check that out, come join us. But thank you everybody, and we'll see y'all next time with another Constructed Clash.